Hey there, kiddos, and welcome back to the channel. I'm Uncle Frank, that you are having a great day, and in today's video, I hope that you guys don't mind if I work while I talk, because I have a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh cards to get through before my weekend starts in earnest, and there's only so much time in the day, so I figure I will work while I chat. And in today's video, I am going to be following up on, or perhaps reiterating, a conversation I had with you guys. It feels like it's been a year now since I last talked about this, but it's the idea that if you are in the business of making a business out of your hobbies, whether it's card games, video games, toys, whatever have you, you really have to like the work itself, and you have to enjoy what you do in order to be successful, I think. On some level, you have to enjoy what you do, because there's all kinds of businesses. There's all kinds of business paths you can take and that are way more profitable than the hobby industry over a much smaller period of time too. Because most things in the world of hobbies, they can take a while to get the ball rolling, whereas other jobs can start seeing a paycheck as early as day one if you're smart enough or find the right position. But no, in the world of hobbies, and of course specifically cards, since that is what I talk about more often than not, in my opinion, if you don't enjoy the work itself, then you're probably not somebody who is going to be in the business for very long. And when I say you got to like the work itself, I'm not talking about, if you. There's a lot of people who say that if you like what you do, then you'll never have to work a day in your life. And that is true to some extent. But when it comes to this kind of business, the business of trading cards and what have you, people tend to equate liking the hobby with liking the work. And it's definitely true that you can make some profits just by being a fan of the card games you're working with, whether or not you like the work you have to do, the sorting, the organizing, the storage, the order fulfillment, all that jazz. It's definitely true that you can make money doing that. But in my opinion, if you only enjoy the card aspect and don't enjoy the work aspect of your work, you are not long for that kind of work. Yeah. Especially if you don't like organizing. If you don't like sorting cards, a TCG hobby business, especially when dealing with bulk, is just not for you. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just the way of the world. The other thing I really want to stress is that there's a difference. There's definitely a difference between funding your hobby with your hobby and making a living off of it. And everybody is aware of the fact that if you go to events and you do good at events, if you get the right pulls from your packs and your boxes, and you buy the right cards at the right time before they go up because you're aware of an upcoming announcement, and you make a guess on what's coming off the ban list, there's ways to make profits off of TCGs, trading cards to other people for cards that they have that you think might go up, and then turning those cards around and using the sales from those cards in order to buy more cards. It's totally possible, I think, to, with a very small initial investment, keep your hobby going. Buy a case, sell the contents of that case in order to buy the next case. Is when I was much younger, something that was very easy to do for Magic the Gathering. You could very easily crack a case of Magic and use that to fund your next case of Magic, as long as you sold off everything, right? Or at least most of it. That's totally possible, but making a business out of it, making a living off of it, covering the bills, covering overhead, electricity, gas, storage containers you need, shelving, all that jazz, that requires a lot more heavy investment. It requires a bit more care and time sink. And there's a huge difference, I think, between just selling some cards on eBay when you get good pulls from a box that you were excited to open up versus going through the effort of organizing all of your cards, double checking their condition, and doing everything in your power to just get as much stuff out there as possible to try and get as many sales as possible. There's a huge difference in that, in my opinion. Again, in my opinion. So to that end, I just want to reiterate that it can be a lot of work, especially, again, if you're working with bulk cards or just large volumes in general. It's gonna get very work heavy, and there are ways to mitigate that. Obviously, something that I like to do a lot, and I do it every day here in the garage, is I try to outline my longer term goals and my short term goals, and I try to build up to the long term goals with very easy small goals that I can do every day. The big one, of course, is organizing so many cards a day, long row boxes, etc. I always try to work towards a goal here in the garage. Today, it's just get through the last of these 1,500 Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Easy enough to do. Easy enough to do. Set small goals every day that you can do without too much fuss, and make it so that those goals build up to larger goals you have down the road, such as getting, I have no idea, an entire table full of maybe 8,000 cards. Yeah, probably about 8,000, maybe 7,000, because those are the smaller boxes. The point is, make your small goals build up to the bigger goals. Do this now so that in 2 or 3 days, all of that stuff can be cleared off. And you'll find if you're consistently setting small goals that are very achievable, you'll find not just the satisfaction from those goals giving you a nice positive feedback loop, but it does add up to the larger goals and accomplishments. Having so many cards listed on TCG Player, getting so many sales through consistent uploads and regular price checks, all that jazz. It's easier to do once you commit to it and are doing things with regularity, right? Just shouldn't need to say that, but it's something that a lot of people don't seem to intrinsically understand, from what I can gather. Because there's a lot of people out there who think you can just upload a few dozen cards to TCG Player and call it a day, and then just never touch the platform again. That's just not really... It's not how the game works, unfortunately. As nice as it would be to upload a few hundred cards and then just coast off of that for... Oh, man, my neck. For months. I tend to find that if you're not regularly updating your inventory with new cards, new product, TCG Player, eBay, wherever, if you're not regularly adding more, you will find sales lagging a bit in some spaces. Just because, again, new stuff is always going to be nice for potential customers, right? It's just how it is. But I suppose I got off topic. What I'm really trying to talk about here is the fact that you have to enjoy this kind of work. If you're the kind of person who enjoys sitting there for potentially hours organizing and alphabetizing cards, then you might be the kind of person who enjoys a TCG Player business, or even running a business in general. Because even brick and mortar stores, if you're the kind of person who's dead set on having a brick and mortar store and you don't like organizing cards, don't get me wrong, it's possible to do. I know plenty of store owners who don't sell any singles whatsoever in their store. They also don't buy singles, and so they're limited exclusively to sealed products and the occasional high-end vintage cards that they will time to time buy. But more and more card stores, in my opinion, more and more hobby stores, have really leaned into the singles as a way to make money, because people tend to want, at least in my opinion, someone's more likely to buy a 15-20 cent card off of you that they just need for a deck or something than they are to sink $100+ into a box, especially if they aren't too interested in whatever that set is. Obviously, so many people coming through your door, so much foot traffic, eventually enough people are going to want that box that it's going to be a sale. But my point is, the singles are a more likely sale on a daily basis. You get me? I hope you do. But yeah, if you don't enjoy the process, and I'm talking about every step of the process, you might really enjoy alphabetizing cards, and that's totally great. But if you also don't enjoy sorting them by set and listing them on the inventory and fulfilling the orders, well, you'll have to work on enjoying them. And like I said, small goals will really make every day just that much more enjoyable, that much more fulfilling, especially if you're being consistent with those goals. And, the other thing I want to say is when it comes to turning hobbies into a business, you have to be smart, right? You have to be intelligent. You have to have at least an idea of what you're selling. You can't just grab random stuff and throw it on without any understanding. Because knowledge of your business is the most important thing you can have. If you start buying dud sets full of dud cards that nobody wants, then you're going to regret that shortly unless you have some kind of exit plan, right? However, while I do always advise being smart and being careful and doing the intelligent thing by researching whatever it is you're looking to do, at the same time, have fun. I really need to stress that as well, is a lot of people tend to really get focused, especially, I watch all kinds of content on YouTube, all right? I watch all kinds of other content creators. I'm not the kind of person who shuts out other opinions just because he doesn't like what he hears. Whether I agree with him or disagree with him, I like to listen to other content creators. And there are people out there who will say, things like, I forget who it was that said, like, you can't collect cards if you're planning on going into business and selling cards. I forget, someone had said that I watched his video. Was it Pokey, I think, who had said something along the lines of, if you haven't, before a certain point, you can't collect cards. And I thought that was kind of wrong. Now, I understood why he was saying it, and I'm misquoting him. It's been like months since I watched that video, I think. But his point was that, like, you got to focus on the business. And that's totally true. If you're looking to make your business successful, you should focus on the business. However, at the same time, it's possible, I think, to want to work on the business somewhat and want to be a collector somewhat. I'm the kind of person who enjoys collecting cards and buying and selling cards. So I don't think he's wrong for having, and if it wasn't Pokey, of course, I apologize. It just feels like the kind of thing he would say. I don't think that statement is wrong for a certain kind of person, but I also think the idea of collecting and buying and selling is also not wrong for a certain kind of person. There's millions of people on this rock hurtling through space following the stars, right? Millions of people on this rock, and they're all a bit different. Some of them may act very much alike, look very much alike, and ostensibly want the same thing, but their actual day-to-day choices are going to vary wildly, which is why there's no one-size-fits-all, in my opinion, approach to the hobby business. Just as there's so many different kinds of cards in Yu-Gi-Oh! For example, we're talking about Yu-Gi-Oh! Let's talk about Yu-Gi-Oh! Just like there's people who are super excited to number hunt and collect all the numbers cards, and other people who just want, like, vintage warrior monsters for their binder, or people who are only interested in ghost rares, or people who are only interested in the fucking gold rares. God, I hate gold rares so much. I get why they have fans, but I really don't like them. Just as there's all kinds of different collectors out there, there's all kinds of different approaches to business, and some of them are definitely going to be more effective than others. I'm definitely not saying, for instance, that my approach is a more effective approach or the right approach, whatever. But I am saying that if you find an approach that works for you, then I think you're going to be happier than trying to mold yourself into an approach that works for somebody else. That's all. Do try to be efficient, obviously. Try to find the most efficient way to stay focused, achieve your goals, remain profitable at all possible times. Do your research, put the work in, put the elbow grease in, do everything you need to do to make sure that at the end of the day, you're meeting goals. And a big one is making money, obviously. But at the same time, make sure that you enjoy the way you're doing it. You can't just do something wholesale that someone else is doing and then expect yourself to enjoy it the same way that they would. And yeah, there's going to be people out there who say it's a business, you don't have to enjoy it. But I think, in my opinion, while it's a business and you don't have to enjoy it, I know that I'm the kind of person that if I didn't enjoy what I was doing, I wouldn't do it. If I didn't enjoy sorting these cards and listing them on TCG Player and sending the orders out, if I didn't enjoy making my trips virtually daily down to the post office and chatting with the guys there, if I didn't enjoy buying collections and buying Volk and sifting through cool new sets of Yu-Gi-Oh cards, or even over here is a good example. If I didn't enjoy just the wonder of looking through new card games that I've barely ever interacted with, just for the fact that it has cool Full Metal Alchemist cards, if I didn't just enjoy the wonder of interacting with cards and experiencing the games for what they are, for the fun of it, I definitely wouldn't be doing it. That's just me personally. Obviously, you could be different, and that's fine. You could be somebody who will do something that you don't enjoy just because you see the profit margins on the horizon are very tempting for you. I'm not that forward a thinker. For me, yes, there's definitely profit over there to be made. Absolutely. I do think ahead. I do, what's that? I do invest. I do invest in TCGs. But I'm doing it because I enjoy having sealed product here in the garage to potentially open or potentially sell down the road. Ideally, one or the other. But what I do here, I do because I enjoy. And I hope, take it or leave it, I hope that what you do, you enjoy as well. That's all. So, I don't know. I feel like I got a bit off tangent there. But I hope you guys understand what I'm trying to talk about here. If you don't have at least some joy out of it, sure, it could be profitable. You could have money down the road and you can be really happy. But if you're doing something like this and you're not enjoying it, why not do something that's more profitable? I don't know. Let you guys think in the comment section below. Agree with me or disagree with me. It doesn't... couldn't hurt to disagree with me. I'm always curious to see other opinions. And, of course, it helps the algorithm if you guys comment regardless. So let me know what you guys think. Of course, like, share, subscribe. Check out the Discord, the Patreon, the TCG Player link. All those are down below. Thank you guys if you stuck around this long. It's been a doozy of a video. And I'll see you guys next time. Ciao.